Do you ever feel like you're putting out fires instead of solving real problems? If so, I'm going to show you how to use the fishbone diagram to uncover the real root cause of your business problems. Hey, Doc Squad, Dr. White here with the Business Analysis Doctor. Today, I'm going to show you how to perform a root cause analysis using the fishbone diagram. But before we get started, if you want more business analysis training and tips, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. With that said, let's get started. So what is a fishbone diagram? The fishbone diagram is a method of identifying, exploring, and organizing the possible factors that contribute to a particular problem or effect. The object of the fishbone diagram is to identify the actual cause of a problem, not just the symptoms of that problem. The fishbone diagram is also known as the cause and effect diagram or the Ishikawa diagram, taking the name of its creator, Kaoru Ishikawa. A business analyst might use a fishbone diagram to perform a root cause analysis, perform a cause and effect analysis, facilitate quality improvement efforts, identify process improvement opportunities, anticipate and prevent potential risks and issues, or to specify an effective solution or corrective action to an issue. Now let's look at the main components of Ishikawa's fishbone diagram. The first component of the diagram is the problem. This is a high-level description of the issue or effect that needs to be understood. It's the focus of the diagram and serves as the starting point to explore all of the potential causes that might be contributing to it. The problem in a fishbone diagram usually originates from a well-formed problem statement. This statement serves as the foundation of your entire analysis, clearly outlining the issue at hand. The problem is commonly illustrated as a large fish head at the far right of the diagram that's labeled with the effect of that problem. It's essentially a visual reminder of the problem you're trying to understand. The problem can also be represented by any other shape that's appropriate for the style of the fishbone diagram. What's important is that the problem is the largest item on the diagram and that there's only one problem to focus on. The next fishbone diagram component is the cause categories. These are the main categories representing the general causes of the problem. The categories of the causes may be derived using various methods, including 8Ms, 8Ps, or 4Ss. The 8Ms categories are applicable in manufacturing and production environments where the focus is on the production process. The categories include manpower, machines, materials, methods, management, measurement, maintenance, and Mother Nature. Manpower refers to the people involved in the process. Machines are the equipment and tools used in the process. Materials identify the raw materials, components, and supplies within the related process. Methods are the procedures and processes followed in the organization. Management considers the leadership and decision-making aspects of the related process. Measurement refers to the metrics and data used to assess performance. Maintenance is the upkeep, repair, and preventative maintenance activities performed on equipment and machinery. And Mother Nature looks at the impact of the environment on the process, such as temperature, humidity, lighting, and other natural factors. Now, the 8Ps method is particularly useful in product marketing industries where service and customer experience play significant roles in addressing issues such as in service industries, retail, hospitality, and education. The categories in the 8Ps method include product, place, people, process, promotion, productivity, price, and physical evidence. Product refers to the actual goods or services offered by the company. Place involves the distribution and availability of the product or service. People encompasses the personnel involved in delivering the product or service. Process refers to the procedures and methods used to deliver the product or service. Promotion involves the marketing and communication strategies used to promote the product or service. Productivity represents the efficiency and effectiveness of the production process. Price relates to the cost of the product or service. Pricing strategies consider factors such as production costs, market demand, and competitor pricing. Physical evidence, also known as packaging, refers to the tangible elements or representations that customers use to evaluate the service. One note about the 8Ms and 8Ps methods is that some of the categories can be removed from the fishbone diagram. If they're not applicable, then there's the 4Ss. This approach is used in industries where external factors and relationships play a significant role. For example, supply chain management or retail. The 4Ss categories include surroundings, suppliers, systems, and skills. Surroundings involve the external environmental factors of the organization. Suppliers refer to the external entities providing materials or services to the organization. Systems define the larger network in which the process of interest operates. Skills are the competencies of individuals involved in the process of interest. The last fishbone diagram component outlines the subcauses. These represent the potential issues that are likely to be contributing to the problem being investigated in the cause and effect or root cause analysis. Subcauses of the fishbone diagram are grouped into the cause categories to visually represent the relationships to one another and their respective categories. Subcauses are represented at three levels. A primary cause is a specific issue that contributes to a problem. These are the biggest branches on the fishbone diagram. They're indicated by a line that directly touches the backbone of the fishbone diagram to the cause category. They're labeled with general terms that describe the underlying factors contributing to the problem. Once the primary cause is identified, ask if the primary cause fully explains the problem. If the primary cause alone provides a clear and sufficient explanation of the issue, exploring secondary causes might not be necessary. But if you still have lingering doubts, secondary causes can help address these uncertainties. Here, you'll generally focus on why and how type of questions, such as, why is this the cause? This question helps you drill down to the underlying reason for the primary cause. For example, if the primary cause is poor customer service, ask, why was the customer service poor? Or, how is this cause contributing to the problem? This question clarifies how the secondary cause specifically connects to the primary cause and ultimately the main problem. Now, a secondary cause within the fishbone diagram provides detail that explains how the primary cause contributes to the problem being investigated. It's also directly related to the primary cause. This is illustrated as smaller branches stemming from the primary cause branch. When identifying the secondary cause, you may ask, what else? As there may be several secondary causes stemming from one primary cause. But be careful not to make the fishbone diagram too complex. Once the secondary cause has been identified, ask if actionable insights or practical solutions can be defined from the results. If not, you may need to identify a tertiary cause. Also ask if more details are still needed to fully understand the secondary cause and how it operates. If not, you don't need to go any further. But if more details are needed, this would be another case to identify the tertiary cause. The tertiary cause of the fishbone diagram provides insight into the specific mechanisms by which the secondary cause contributes to the problem and why it exists. Understanding tertiary causes during a cause and effect analysis can inform more targeted solutions. But while these details are more specific, they're often indirectly related to the primary cause. Because of this, the tertiary branches are considered optional. Tertiary causes are represented by the smallest lines on the fishbone diagram, branching out from the secondary cause. Now let's look at an example for each type of subcause for the manpower category for investigating poor customer service. A primary cause identified might be insufficient staffing. This would directly and immediately cause poor customer service because there wouldn't be enough staff members to accommodate the customer demand, which would lead to extended wait times. Here, we may still need to ask, why is staffing insufficient? The response to this may be that the current hiring process is leading to high turnover. From there, we may ask for additional details, such as which part of the hiring process is leading to the high turnover. A possible response might be that inadequate onboarding is leading to high turnover because we're setting up new team members for failure by not properly vetting them. So, while inadequate onboarding doesn't immediately cause poor customer service, it does have an indirect effect down the line. Now let's look at the steps to create a fishbone diagram for a cause and effect analysis or a root cause analysis. The first step is to clearly define the problem. This will be represented as the effect or the fish head in the diagram. If appropriate, you can add information regarding the details of the problem and its effects. Next, gather the subject matter experts. Here, the business analyst will need to formulate a team of individuals who are familiar with the process, functions, and problem in question. Then, you'll create the fishbone diagram template. Draw the outline on a large piece of paper, whiteboard, or a diagramming tool. The template should include a problem node, several cause categories, and lines for subcauses. It should resemble the spine and scales of a fishbone, hence the name. Now you'll need to determine the cause categories. Based on your knowledge of the organization, choose the cause categories method that will most effectively represent the possible causes of the problem. This might be the 8Ms method, the 8Ps, or the 4 S's. Once selected, fill in the cause categories appropriately. Now it's time to identify possible causes. Here, you'll brainstorm with subject matter experts to determine the possible causes that may be contributing to the problem that has been defined. Here, the business analyst can guide the stakeholders through each cause category by using prompts and questions. This will generate the various primary causes within each cause category. For example, when brainstorming for the manpower category, you may ask questions like, what skills or knowledge are missing in the team? Are there any communication issues or misunderstandings? Or is there sufficient training provided to the employees? This is a creative and open-minded process where all ideas are welcome. Then you'll need to further analyze the causes. You can further analyze them to identify secondary and tertiary causes. For the secondary cause, ask for explanations on why the primary cause contributes to the problem. For the tertiary cause, ask questions regarding the details and breakdown of the related cause to understand the functions and mechanisms of the secondary cause. At this point, the cause and effect analysis is complete, but there's more. If you're using the Fishbone diagram to perform a root cause analysis, the next step is to prioritize the causes. Due to the volume of potential causes identified, it will be necessary to narrow down the causes to a few that will be further analyzed to determine the actual root causes. The business analyst can work with the subject matter expert to identify the causes that are likely to have the highest impact on the problem. This is often done using the Pareto principle. This method uses the 80-20 rule to determine the 20% of causes that are leading to 80% of the effects or results. Determining the most impactful causes can be facilitated through multi-voting. Here, the business analyst will provide the subject matter experts with a voting or point system. Each participant votes on the causes they believe have the most significant impact on the problem, allocating their votes accordingly. Now we're ready to perform the root cause analysis. After the most impactful primary causes have been identified, facilitate root cause analysis on each using the 5 whys technique. For example, the primary cause of lack of training with a secondary cause of poor communications of training requirements might involve questions like, why were the training requirements poorly communicated? Why did the training manager not provide clear instructions? Why was the training manager overloaded with work? Why was there high turnover? Or why did employees feel dissatisfied with their work environment? The final response to these questions would ultimately be the root cause to the problem. The final step is to create an action plan. After the group agrees on the root cause or causes, discuss solutions to correct the problem or prevent it from recurring. Now let's go through some best practices for creating a fishbone diagram and performing a root cause analysis. First, focus on the causes. When brainstorming causes for the fishbone diagram, ensure that the group focuses on the causes, not solutions at this stage. It could be tempting to lead into solutions during this time, but the facilitator should be prepared to reserve that discussion for later. Also, identify the fact. Distinguish causes as facts that are proven by data or beliefs that are driven by common knowledge or opinions. Any cause categorized as a belief will need to be investigated and validated following the session. Involve cross-functional teams. Gather a diverse group of stakeholders with different perspectives and expertise relevant to the problem. This ensures a comprehensive consideration of the various factors for the root cause analysis. Prioritize the causes. Performing a root cause analysis on every potential cause can be time-consuming. Prioritization optimizes the team's time by ensuring that additional root cause efforts are only directed towards the most critical issues. Use common language. Write the fishbone diagram labels and items in clear and concise language. Avoid jargon or overly technical terms to ensure that the diagram is easily understood by the entire group. Consistent symbols and colors should be used to represent specific elements of the fishbone diagram. This helps in creating an intuitive and easy to understand diagram. And finally, define an action plan for the root cause analysis. A fishbone diagram is useless without a comprehensive action plan to address the problem. Be sure to assign responsibilities and timelines to ensure implementation and follow-up. Now let's look at an example root cause analysis using the fishbone diagram. The case study we'll use is a university admissions department that's exceeding service level agreements by 2 weeks. First, we'll start with drawing our fishbone diagram outline. Next, we'll display our problem at the head of the fishbone diagram. For this particular issue, the 8 P's method would be most effective for the root cause analysis due to the nature of the organization and the domain that we're interested in. Now, based on the problem we're investigating, the physical evidence and price categories aren't applicable, so we'll omit these from the diagram so that we're being efficient with our time. So here we'll be using the 6 P's method instead of the 8 P's. Now let's start brainstorming with the subject matter experts to identify some primary causes for each category. For the people category, possible causes might be insufficient staffing and evaluation criteria. For process-related causes, we have manual review and insufficient communication. The productivity category might include a lack of motivation and insufficient technology. The place category could have inadequate workspace as a potential cause. Incomplete applications and complex requirements could be the product-related causes. And unrealistic expectations can be identified as the promotion-related cause. Now let's get more details about these primary causes by analyzing them. This is where the secondary and tertiary causes come in. Remember that for secondary causes, we're interested in how the primary cause contributes to the main problem. So for the people category, we may uncover that the staffing is insufficient because the poor vetting of the current process is leading to high turnover rate and staff shortages. And for the evaluation criteria cause, we may uncover that unclear standards don't inform the existing staff of the factors that contribute to the service level agreement. Now, when further analyzing the manual review cause, it's determined that insufficient communication was the result of unclear roles and responsibility, and the manual review is the result of the lack of algorithm. But this secondary cause may need further explanation to see how it ties to the primary cause. So we dive into the tertiary cause to reveal that there are no automated approvals, which will be helpful because it could free up some time that the application reviewers are spending on the review. So we will continue this analysis with the productivity category, the place category, the product category, and the promotion category. Now that we've identified the various causes and subcauses, this will be considered a proper cause and effect diagram. But we still need to prioritize them in order to facilitate the root cause analysis. So we'll use the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule that was described earlier in the lesson. We'll facilitate the Pareto principle using multivoting. For demonstration purposes, let's move our fishbone diagram into a table so that we can take a better look at multivoting. The general voting structure is that all voters have 3 choices to select as the 3 primary causes that have the highest impact on the problem. Then the voters would assign a score to each choice where 3 is the most impactful, 2 would be the next impactful, and 1 would indicate the less impactful primary cause. So let's go through an example. Our first subject matter expert believes that the manual review is the most impactful. The inefficient communication is thought to be the next impactful, and insufficient staffing is less impactful. Now we'll continue the process for the remaining subject matter experts, and then we'll sum the scores for each of the causes. In this scenario, there are several primary causes that had a total score of 0. So we'll remove those from the table so that we can focus on the more impactful causes. So based on the total scores, we can see that the 2 most impactful primary causes are insufficient staffing and the manual review process. Now we can perform our actual root cause analysis on each. We'll use the 5 whys method to facilitate this. So for the manual review of applications primary cause, I would ask, why are applications manually reviewed? A likely response would be because there isn't an automated system in place to handle the review process. Next, I'd ask, why isn't there an automated system for application review? A response may be because the budget constraints have prevented the implementation of an automated system. Then I could ask, why are there budget constraints? A response could be because the university is prioritizing other expenses and it's not allocated sufficient funds for implementing automation. Then I might ask, why are other expenses prioritized over automation? A response might be because there's a lack of awareness about the long-term benefits associated with the automated application process. Then I'd ask, why is there a lack of awareness about the benefits of automation? Here, the answer may be that there's been a communication gap between the admissions department and the decision makers responsible for budget allocation. At this point, I say that we've determined that the root cause of the manual review process is the communication gap between admissions and the executives that control the budget. Then we'd repeat the process for the insufficient staffing primary cause. So let's assume that after performing the 5 whys, it was determined that the root cause was that demographic changes led to an emphasis on higher education. Now it's time to take action. From here, the business analyst would use the root causes as inputs to formulate an action plan. Each root cause should have a number of corrective actions to address the cause, assessment measures to determine the effectiveness of the corrective action, as well as owners who will be responsible to execute the corrective actions. A root cause analysis is a powerful way to strengthen your project business case. If you want to know more about how to create a compelling business case, check out the video in the description and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.